In business, there's no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. When you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on. Because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else: your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
This is Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
What's up, everybody? We're cruising on a Wednesday. Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Had a great breakdown of the Truist Championship in Hour 1 with Christopher Powers. If you want to catch up on any of his favorite golfers, make sure you check out Money Moves in podcast form, wherever you get your podcast. You can listen on your own time. Lots to get to this hour, including in 30 minutes. Kobe Price, who covers the Lakers for the California Post, is going to join us. He was in that scrum this morning with Luka Doncic and his first media availability, talking to everybody about the current state of the injury. Not great. Yes, I know I had a speech impediment there.
I was going to say anything.
Yes, yeah.
Just move on.
See it on your face. I can't when I look at you and you make that face. I know, I'm pushing through.
Lakers, purple and gold. Looking forward to seeing what this series looks like. Speaking of gold, your hair looks golden today.
Thank you.
How did you do something with it yesterday?
I got highlights 3 days ago.
Looks great.
Thank you for noticing, even though you didn't.
I noticed eventually. That's all that matters.
We'll get into plenty of NBA, NHL this hour. We'll have best bets at the end of the hour, as always. You have a little college football news to get into in a moment as well. But did real quickly want to wrap up some of our hockey conversation from last segment, because as we were talking about the Golden Knights Ducks game coming up tonight for game 2, another angle I wanted to present was just the line combination prop options for the first 2 lines for Vegas specifically. And Josh Ingles of Covers, we've had him on the program a number of times. He was the first person that kind of brought this up and put a light on it for me over the last couple of years, of being able to pair up anytime point props with guys who play a lot together, whether they're playing on the same line or you know that they're going to be on a power play together. And a couple of guys that I think could be worthwhile if you want to pair them together, see if you can get plus money prices. Anybody on that second line, if you want to put together for Vegas. So the Marner, Brett Howden, Mark Stone, they have been operating at such a high rate ever since John Tortorella moved the lines around. And the top line's been producing much better as well, with Jack Eichel centering Ivan Barbashev and Pavel Dorofeev. Shea Theodore, I think another guy, if you were trying to mix and match and piece some of these guys together on the back end, since he was elevated to the top power play for Vegas, he's been operating. He didn't have a point last game, but prior to that was operating at a point per game pace. So just a couple of these guys, if you want to mix and match and see if you can make something happen, I think is really worthwhile. But that second line, I would say, is my favorite of that bunch. Also, we didn't talk much about last night and how that went for Colorado. I don't know how much of the game that you ended up watching, because I know
quite a bit.
So it's a 3-1 game with about 8 minutes to go. And I just want to say, I feel for anyone who had the under in that game last night, because there's 4.5 seconds to go and an empty netter gets in. And
part of the game, baby.
Honestly, though, at the beginning of this thing, it looked like it was going to be an over game, the way that Colorado came out.
Right. I mean, it looked like, so what would we get, 2 or 3 goals in the first, 4 shots or something like that?
Yes. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So it looked like we were going to be back on pace for what that first game was. And then it ends up, like you said, going over with the empty netter, and you Avalanche win by margin. To me, the big picture here is Minnesota's got a goaltending issue, it would seem, in this series. I mean, you make the switch, and I think part of it was Wallstead, like you had said, had played a lot in those games, and so maybe you want to give him some rest. But he didn't play well in the first series, or assuming the first game. And then here we are. Colorado does pretty much the same thing they did in game 1 to your other guy here. So I think that that's going to be a problem for Minnesota, is through 2 games and 2 goaltenders, both have really struggled.
And we also talked yesterday about Minnesota's special teams issues, and if that was something that they could figure out against Colorado this series. They certainly didn't in game 2. They go 0-for-2 on the power play. The penalty kill gives up a pair of goals as well. And especially when you look at their regular season numbers, I mean, the PK was decent. They were league average in the playoffs, but as far as what we've seen so far, the only team that has been worse than them has been the Edmonton Oilers in round one against an Anaheim Ducks power play that operated at a 50% clip. So this has been bad. Faceoffs have been a problem. They need to get a lot cleaned up. And I was listening to the availability from their head coach, John Hines, earlier this morning. He talked about maybe some potential changes, whether it be to the lines. And we don't know what he's going to do for game 3 just yet. In net, as you mentioned, putting in Gustafsson in this last game. Fortunately for Minnesota, and I do think this is something that could play into their favor as they get set for their first game back at home. They'll have a little bit of an extended break because their arena is being used by the PWHL right now for the playoffs. Might get a little extra time to get healthier because Jonas Brodin has been injured. Joel Eriksson Ek has been injured. They have a lot of problems right now from a health standpoint that maybe they can get some of these pieces back. And even Bogosian got hurt too. Yeah, Bogosian got hurt as well. So they have a handful of guys who are injured. If they can get some of them potentially available and back with the extended layoff, I think that could be useful for them.
Okay. We'll buy it.
So we'll keep tabs on it all. I wanted to get into a little bit of college football news here because David Purdom of ESPN put out an update to the Brendan Sorsby gambling saga that began last week. The Texas Tech quarterback, sources said that he had accounts with betting accounts in several states and some of his bets being placed with an account using a different name. So this just adds to all of the stuff. If you missed it last week, he is going into a rehabilitation process for gambling addiction based on, I think, basically this coming out. It feels like it's one of those things that I don't know that for sure, but it felt like it was one of those things where he was getting out, or the school was getting out ahead of it, saying that he was going through a rehab process once the NCAA found out that this had happened.
It feels performative, yes. What's that?
I wasn't going to go that far.
Yeah, I'm saying it feels. I'm not going to say it is. I don't know for a fact. There is certainly a possibility that Sorsby maybe felt like he did have a problem, but given the timeline and what's been reported, it felt somewhat performative, a la Mike Vrabel having one day of counseling to fix his marriage and then going back to the team. It doesn't feel like it's legitimate. You're actually going for the reason that you should, which is to fix whatever issues you feel like you're dealing with. He's
done, right?
I would assume so. I mean, at the end of the day, and you and I had this long talk, and there's actually a couple of things up on social media about this, the Indiana wagers in question, that's it. Seems pretty cut and dry. You were on the team, you bet on Indiana games, even if you bet on the team and didn't participate in them, you cannot do that, and thus you are done. So that, I don't think there's really any question about it. He's now launching further investigations into this from the State Gaming Commission from Indiana and Ohio, thank you. I think those are more due diligence steps than anything else. Obviously, you just want to check in to see if was he betting on games against it? Was he using inside information? I think those are just the actual, just normal steps that I think a gaming commission is going to take now that this news has come down. But in terms of his availability for Texas Tech, I'm quite certain you're rolling forward and viewing Texas Tech as the team without Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah, you have to. And it's just, we were talking offline about this. It's just insane to me to think about, when he was making those bets specifically at Indiana, he's a redshirt freshman. He's a young kid. He doesn't have NAL money. It's Indiana as well before they became national championship Indiana. So how much do you think these bets were for? And we'll find out that throughout the course of the investigation, I would anticipate. But probably small bets in general that add up over the course of all the different things he was doing.
I mean, we do have an idea of what he was betting though already, right? The Cincinnati Reds baseball games, he was betting $2.50 to $1.
Yeah. So let's say $20 bets on Indiana football. You are now, and obviously, you can never project forward what your career is going to be. But this contract that he was going to have with Texas Tech, $4 or $5 million, to think about what you have cost yourself for a $20 bet when you were a redshirt freshman is unbelievable. That's life-changing. That's unreal.
Yeah. I mean, this is, who was it? Was it, I'll look up who the reporter was, because there was somebody when this news came down that alleged there were scouts out there that thought he had a skill set akin to, and he named 3 quarterbacks, like Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that that's actually the case. So we'll see if that's true. Mo Egger, who does ESPN Cincinnati, had brought this up and had retweeted the report, which is just look, I watched a lot of him when he was with the Bearcats. Yeah. I didn't see a lot of what these scouts are allegedly talking about. So he doesn't seem like he's going to be a top prospect in terms of the quarterback draft, or should be being a quarterback in the NFL to begin with. So it's going to be hard to find that money unless you look.
And think about what the projected class is going to be next year anyways, if that does end up coming to fruition.
He'll get to the NFL, I would think, whether it's through the back end of the draft or a practice squad, whatever it is, and maybe he works his way up and he's going to be a great story and whatnot. But you're at the very beginning of your career, you're not going to see that money.
Yeah. Oof. We also had some other news in college football overnight.
Okay,
go ahead.
No, I don't want to get off college football. We do have some breaking news that I think is worth pointing out for our audience. But looks like Golden Tempo is going to skip the Preakness Stakes.
Oh no Triple Crown option.
And go straight for the Belmont. So I just saw this. Mike Somich just retweeted it. Veasan just retweeted it. But yeah, from her for the trainer. Golden Tempo is going to skip the Preakness Stakes.
I feel like
no Triple Crown.
I feel like that's coming more and more often in horse racing.
What happened to the horses that used to go for it, These horses nowadays, they're soft. I think that you could say
I can't believe they're load managing like this. It's embarrassing.
These Gen Alpha horses, they're very soft.
The other thing, though, and I know college football, it feels so far away right now, so we don't need to get too in the weeds on this, but the AFCA is recommending changes to the college football calendar, and they don't officially make any of these decisions, but there are so many people that are respected, that are a part of this board, that what they put out there and submit is important to the NCAA and others in the college football world, including the CFP. The proposal includes ending conference championship games, reducing open weeks from 2 down to 1, preserving an exclusive window for the Army-Navy game at the end of the year, but also allowing postseason games to be played that day, and reducing minimum days between games to no fewer than 6. And I mean, I think all of these things would be positive for the sports calendar, like especially starting week 0 and just having it be week 1.
Sure.
I love that idea. Like that's one of the proposals that came out recently from the NCAA Oversight Committee. But my big issue with all of anything that comes out is, okay, what is this going to look like with the bowl system? Because those major New Year's 6 bowls, you cannot get out of your own way with them. And they have put themselves into bed with the Rose Bowl and with the Cotton Bowl and with all of these bowls. I don't know what that's going to look like if those games are played on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I mean, I would always acquiesce to they're going to figure it out. Like whatever it is, whatever problems are going to happen. If they're going to expand to 24 teams, if they're going to get rid of conference championship games, they're going to figure out whatever they need to. And with the Rose Bowl and all the nonsense that transpires with them needing their day, I don't know if you know this, the sun sets every day.
Whoa.
So I think that we're going to be able to get your silly little sunset there. And roses don't grow just on one day.
We'll see.
You're more of a traditionalist than I am.
No, I'm just saying it is a college football thing. It's not a me thing. And I'm also, everybody loves this 24 team format, apparently, and I am not on board with it. That said, speaking of 24 teams, how about 20 leagues?
Iowa could win
one mission, Just Win Bets, baby, your premier source for daily sports betting picks. They're going to break down the data to let you bet with confidence across the entire sports calendar all year long. Check out that QR code on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on TV, or you can go to justwinbetsbaby.com today. Start betting smarter with Just Win Bets, baby. The name says it all. We'll be right back.
Hey, let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. I've got something for you that feels too good to be true. First, credit where credit is due. If you're listening to this podcast, you're already leveling up your betting game. You're riding along with our best bets and top angles. And when there's a good game on, you're probably getting involved with a few props and alt markets as well. But there's one more layer if you really want to step things up, and that's VSiN Pro. Yeah, I've mentioned it before, but things are only getting better for our pro subscribers. We just rolled out our MLB prop projections, breaking down some of the best edges across strikeouts, hits, home runs, and more. And that's on top of everything else pro subscribers already get, including public betting splits, expert picks, and betting guides across the sports calendar. If you haven't tried it yet, stop sleeping on it. You can get your first month for just $9.99 or save big with promo code POD26 on an annual subscription. Hit the link in the description and start cashing in with VSiN Pro. All right, now back to the show.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A few score updates for you quickly in Major League Baseball. The Rays up 3-0 in the 8th on Toronto. Brew Crew on the road up 5-0 over St. Louis in the 7th right now. And how about a 5-run top of the 3rd for the Los Angeles Dodgers to go up 6-1 over the Astros. Paez had a 3-run shot, so love to see that. From my run line, it's still very early in the game, but long way to go. Nice start for the Dodgers to this point.
And a tough start for Lance McCullers Jr. and the pitching staff continues to hemorrhage runs for the Astros. 2 2/3, all 6 runs charged to McCullers. Struck out 4, walked 3. And as you mentioned, the Paez homer got taken deep. Took him 70 pitches to get through 2 2/3.
Woof. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you back here on Money Moves. Speaking of the Dodgers, we brought this up in passing earlier on the show, but I did want to get your opinion on this a little bit more. What's going on with Shohei Ohtani? He is been awesome this season. He has the best ERA in all of baseball, yet the Dodgers somehow are not winning games that he is starting, even with the low run production that he has put out there. Even yesterday, yes, he gives up 2 runs, both solo shots. They end up losing 2-1 in the game because they couldn't get any run support in that spot. Did not hit for a second pitching appearance, though, which has been a big topic of conversation when it comes to Cy Young.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a dude that as a pitcher is pitching to the level that he is, and we're going to bring up the numbers here. So far this season, the ERA floating around. What are we talking about here? Why do I keep pulling?
0.97.
Yeah, 0.97. Thank you very much. And I'm looking at something really quickly. Okay. All right. Here we got this. I think it's variance. I think that he's pitching well, and the Dodgers just happen to not be hitting well on the days that he's out there, and it means absolutely nothing.
Okay. So should not have any.
So I was trying to look at my advanced numbers to see if there was anything there. I'm being sarcastic. I think that there's not a, like, if people start, here's the thing, because betting social media can be quite a thing. If we start going out and being like, we're playing against the Dodgers every time Ohtani starts, like, you got to stop.
That's silly. Yeah.
Right? We're talking about how many starts for him so far? 6. And the fact that they are sporting a losing record in those games, despite the fact that he has a 0.97 ERA and a whip under 1, I would assume that this is just a little Scotia variance and that they're going to be fine in his starts going forward.
You said you had some hockey breaking news to me in the break. No. Sorry, I glossed over it.
Yeah, it's not exactly worth breaking into a baseball segment for. Are you going to the game tonight?
We can bring it up later. I am not. No, I'm
okay.
watching from home.
I was going to say, because apparently they have...
Especially after the last game that I didn't do, that TNT had for the first round, that it was double overtime, and I was like, oh, it's so glorious just to be in my bed for the end of that game. Okay. But what do they have something new at the arena tonight?
Duck hunt fries.
Ooh, that's cute.
I mean, it's literally just French fries.
They need to do some. This is Vegas. How have they not done something with the booze? Because you look at what the Carolina Hurricanes did with the beer snake. The Buffalo has their beer saber. We've got all these cool things going on around the league right now, and yet we do not have anything cool in Vegas when it comes to drinking. That's crazy to me.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe because it's expensive.
Yeah, but it's $18 beer night anywhere you go in the league anyways.
I would also, I think this was just pictures, so it's just like a small bit of evidence, and it was one section. I am not hearing great things about attendance for the most part for these VGK games, so for playoff games in general, so maybe that's part of it too.
I mean, it's looked filled.
It's looked filled, but I've seen some pictures and whatnot, and I've heard.
You mean when double overtime and some people left at the end of the night?
No, it was like, like second period, first period in the middle of a game.
I feel like people take those pictures when folks are still coming back from concessions.
I mean, you don't have to get defensive.
No. I'm just saying. I feel like all of those photos that come out are when people, like, remember the Hurricanes picture that went viral when they were in overtime, and everybody was like, "Oh, Canes fans, Fairweather fans are not even showing up in OT," when they were just at intermission, like going to the bathroom or getting some snacks or whatever it was, and then came back.
It's 8:34 left in the third period. You got some, or second period, excuse me. There's a lot of empty seats there in the section. Just saying.
I don't know. It's still pretty loud.
I mean, it's not your team. I don't know why you're getting so defensive about
it. Billy Charlembois. I'm not good at French.
Billy, because we were talking about the Jackson Lacombe prop, he said, speaking of motivation tonight, here's even more, and shared the clip from the game where he passed up an open net. Very fair point. Great player who had a horrible game one. I completely agree on motivation. Yeah, I'm with you, Billy. I felt for him in that moment, because you have to watch that replay if you're Lacombe and just be like, how did I not have my face directed at the net in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about. Is I don't think he was looking at all. I think entirely the play was to bounce that back across and to get a good angle, even though he didn't realize that he had the better angle. He didn't look, if you look at the slow-mo replay, even he doesn't look at the net one time.
Well, I'm saying, especially like Carlson makes this just nasty move on, I guess if you're the goalie, on his right side, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's where you see him go to.
Yeah.
And so I feel like just awareness for Lacombe, he should have recognized that he was over there. And I don't know. But I mean, he's a facilitator. He's more of an assist guy anyways. I get it. But it stinks.
Said, like the meme of the fat guy sitting on the couch with potato chips all over his belly.
Sure.
Like, should have made that play.
Yeah, we can criticize all we want. Just like us all ripping the officials yesterday in what was, we are going frame by frame for a non-reviewable play, saying that, this was a terrible judgment call. Okay, we do have one game of baseball coming up in the next 25 minutes or so. Padres and Giants going head-to-head. Adrian Hauser on the hill for the home Giants. How do you say this? Bradley?
Yeah, I think so.
Bradley, I like that. Rodriguez. It's like people that they're not Anthony, it's Anthony. They like make the parents make the little tweak. Basically a pick'em game here. Run total 8.5. Anything that stands out to you in that one coming up soon?
Brad Glay is the proper pronunciation. I want to give him his due respect.
That sounds fancy.
Look, so I don't really have much here for this one. I think for Rodriguez and what we're looking at over the course of this small sample size that we have, it dates back to last year, pitched 7 2/3 and then 16 2/3 so far this year. One could argue maybe getting away with a little bit, but you're not expecting a lot here. He's going to come in, it's going to be an opener role, and then he's going to fall by the wayside. 162 ERA, 260 FIP, and then we're going to get to Johnny Holstaff afterwards. So can't expect too much. In his outings so far this season, Stormy hasn't pitched more than 2 innings, and that was the first time we saw him at the beginning of the year. So we're going to turn this over to the Padres bullpen, so we'll see how they want to use it there. And on the other side, Hauser for the Giants has not pitched well, and even if he regresses to the mean to some of his underlying metrics, that still is regressing to a well below average pitcher. Okay. 7.12 ERA, 5.75 fielding independent. Strikeout numbers are pretty down for a guy who was never really even a dominant swing and miss guy to begin with. And the thing he's really getting unlucky on are these home runs, at least for the season so far. He's given up four home runs, over his last 2 appearances, 4 2/3 against Philly last time out. Got taken deep twice, walked 2, struck out 2, gave up 4 hits and 3 earned runs. Miami took him deep a couple of times, and of course, coughed up 8 earned runs there. He has given up 3+ in each of his starts except for the first one, and he's given up 4 straight in 5 out of his last 6, I believe, in my notes. Yep. So it has not gone well for Hauser. Can't really expect that I'm going to really jump in with both feet to back him today.
Gotcha. Let's stay out west on the Wednesday card, which missed opportunity by me for a segue from the Anaheim Ducks to the Anaheim Angels, because your beloved Angels in action again after a dub yesterday. They get the 4-3 win over the White Sox, back in action today. A virtual pick'em game again, -107 at home in this spot.
Yeah, Walbert Urena is going to get the start for the Angels today. One of the hopefully bright spots for the Angels moving forward of their young core that is somewhat thin. So I think this is fascinating for multiple reasons. First off, the White Sox, we touched on this briefly with Adam Burke yesterday, but the White Sox have really come on strong. They look like they might be everything that we all expected them to be. You know, we talked about this in our offseason preview of them, that they had the potential to go over the win total, that maybe they were going to finish a little bit higher in the AL Central than we give them the credit for. They come in having lost last time out, but having won 6 out of the last 10, 17-19 so far in the season. So good for them so far for the start. Noah Schultz is going to get the start for the White Sox. Schultz is off to a great start himself. 2.53 ERA, 3.57 though, fielding independent, and the expected is at 4.43, so maybe some room for progression. I say all of this to say that the market has really come around on the White Sox. They opened here as about $1.30 favorites in some spots. We're down to like -112. And I just question whether or not the White Sox should be favored to this degree. I understand how bad the Angels bullpen has been. Do you remember they rank?
Second worst in Major League Baseball. Gross.
Yep, there you go. And
second to the Houston Astros.
Yep, good job. And
look at me, I'm learning.
Maybe worse today. We'll see how the bullpen holds up.
I would hope so. Please let that happen for my Dodgers run line.
So to me, it's just kind of a pricing thing. Even with this movement, I think Urena has pitched well enough for those who have seen him so far or haven't seen him so far. 3.86 ERA, 4.25 FIP, so kind of tight with the numbers. Not really expecting too much of a regression there. Expected ERA is at 3.41. The command could be a little shaky for Urena, so you got to kind of rope that in here a little bit. Contact numbers aren't awful though, so I think that he's going to give the Angels a shot. And from a pricing standpoint, you get even money or better on the Angels here at home against the White Sox, against a pitcher that shows some signs of regression. I would say let's take a shot with the Angels, even with their shoddy bullpen today.
From the worst to the best, or I guess second best, Yankees second best record in baseball right now. They're big favorites today against the Rangers and Nathan Eovaldi. You think that price -207 seems about right?
Yeah, I just want to see what Eovaldi's got here in this start against the Yankees, because remember, he got off to that brutal start at the beginning of the season. 11 earned runs to start in his first 2 outings. Goffed up 6 against the Athletics 2 starts ago. But last time out against this Yankees team, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, and struck out 7. It was much more like the Eovaldi that we have come to expect. Second time around facing this team, I'm curious to see what his role is. That to me is going to be what I'm curious about here today, Eovaldi and his performance.
Good reminder too, if you're betting baseball, VSiN.com. We've got articles each and every day from VSiN's own Adam Burke, Greg Peterson, breaking down the daily card. And right now we've got a special. If you use the promo code PRO, PRO, at VSiN.com/subscribe, you get our 14-month deal for just $199. Sign up today at VSiN.com/subscribe. We'll be right back.
You're You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It was the biggest underdog role for the Lakers in the playoffs in 35 years, and apparently the odds makers had it right because they couldn't cover against OKC, who gets yet another win, 5-0 to open up the 2026 postseason. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you to help us break it all down and kind of make sense of where the Lakers are at right now. Excited to have Kobe Price join us here on the Progressive Guest Line, Lakers beat reporter for the California Post. You can follow him on X as well at Kobe, KHOBI_Price. And we talked about it earlier, Kobe. For as much as LeBron is trying to turn back the clock, he hasn't had a lot of support to help him out, has he?
No, I mean, yes, last night especially, it was just a rough night, especially with Austin Reeves, not playing up to the level that's expected of him, at least in terms of scoring and shooting. But yeah, the Lakers got contributions from Rui Hachimura, had a decent game, had a nice shooting game. DeAndre Ayton had good moments, but you could really feel the absence of Luka Doncic last night offensively in terms of creation, scoring, and playmaking, opening up things for everybody else. You could really feel that. I mean, even during the Houston series that the Lakers won, but especially last night against the Thunder defense that is smothering, aggressive, physical, and is going to make things difficult for everybody.
So what is an adjustment that you think J.J. Redick can make? Did he speak about any adjustments that he wants to make here? What lever can he pull considering Luka Doncic is still sidelined?
Yeah, we spoke to J.J. about, I would say, 2 hours ago. Didn't get not too detailed in terms of the adjustments that he could, that they can make or that, the team could make. But one thing that, watching the game and then looking back through things that I think could help is just trying, and they did this early. I thought they did a good job of this early. But just going back to it is play through LeBron even more than they did, and playing specifically through the post more than they did. This Thunder defense, I mean, they're not running a whole lot of Lakers, not a whole lot of pick and rolls with Luka out. But the Thunder, that's where the Thunder defense thrives. Being on the perimeter, swarming, trying to protect the paint, being aggressive out, 25, 28 feet from the basket. But the more you can get LeBron on the block or on the elbow, which is funny to say because they did a good amount yesterday, but just lean on it even more as much as they can because those are the areas that I think the Lakers can really exploit against the Thunder.
I know you also spoke to Luka Doncic today. First time we really got to hear from him since he's been going through all of this injury stuff. What were some of your biggest takeaways from that conversation about where he's at right now?
Yeah, I mean, some of the biggest takeaways were for one, and he made sure to repeat this, or he did repeat this a few times. He mentioned how when he first got the MRI, doctors told him that he was expected to have a 8-week recovery timeline, which I did the math earlier, 8 weeks from the April 2nd injury. The last time they were OKC, I think it would be May 27th, which that's not just beyond, that's beyond not just the first round series, obviously, but that's 10 days after this second round series could potentially end. Or maybe it's May 27th or May 28th. So that was the original injury timeline. Now, he did mention that he did get the PRP injections when he went to Spain. When asked about his thoughts about whether that would expedite his return to the court, he just reaffirmed that he's doing everything he can to get back on the court. He started running, which was a significant step in his return to play progress after really just doing standstill drills for a while. But those were the main takeaways. That he's trying to get back. I think most people thought it'd be more of a 4 to 6 week recovery timeline, or that was the expectation. Luka, he had a left hamstring injury earlier in the season. He told us that this is just much worse and just a different recovery process than that one. But the main takeaway was that he's trying his best. He's trying to get back on the floor. He's doing what he can. He had the injections in Spain, but there's a potential that he just, the JJ said it before, back when Luka and Austin Reeves got injured back in April 2nd, and a couple days after that, he mentioned that the Lakers' job, everyone else's job was to extend the season long enough for Luka and Austin to return. It was a success, obviously, with Austin returning. coming back against Houston. But with Luka, there just may not. The Lakers may find themselves with not enough time, right? Yeah. There may not be enough time to extend the season for Luka to come back.
What's the latest on Jared Vanderbilt?
That gruesome injury, very nasty. It was a full dislocation, broke through the skin, but they were able to. I think JJ said they were able to put his finger back together, and he is day to day. Jared Vanderbilt, his status moving forward is now day to day.
I would have sorry to cut you off. Sorry, I was just so it's not broken, right? It was the dislocation that came out of the finger. So that sounds like it's essentially dealing with the laceration. If it's back in place, he could come back relatively quickly.
He's day to day. Yeah, it's not a fracture. It's not a broken bone. The bone broke through the skin, but it did not break. So that's where they're at. He's like I said, day to day. Just thinking about it, and talking about it. Like I saw the picture of it thinking. I was like, oh, that's like when that kind of stuff happens, it's always nasty. It's always something to look at. Yeah. But obviously, when you see an injury like that, like just to hear the fact that he's day to day, he's not gonna
is crazy.
Yeah,
JVT
it's crazy, and it's my bad. Go ahead.
No, Kobe, I was just going to say JVT even showed me like the zoomed in close up of the Pistons bench after it happened, just their reaction. Bench, the Thunder's bench when they just saw where the hand was. It just like everybody freaking out. Because you mentioned, though, the Lakers probably potentially not having the opportunity to be able to see Luka Doncic out on the court because of the opponent that they're playing here in OKC. Do you get the feel that this ends in a sweep? Like, is it already curtains for Los Angeles? How do you see this series playing out? Can they steal one at home?
Yeah, I think the Lakers are going to pick up at least one win during this series. I don't see it being a sweep. My series prediction was Thunder in 6. I thought that game 1 was a very important game for the Lakers just to set the tone, and I actually thought they played relatively well. They didn't shoot well, which obviously against the Thunder team you have to make shots, especially with the way that they defend. Shot making is paramount, but. I mean, Thunder probably still win this. I don't think so. I'll just say Thunder in 5. But I mean, if the Lakers could come out tomorrow in Game 2 and really just ramp things up, like be a little bit more tuned in defensively into the non-Shai Gilgeous-Alexander defensive coverages, if they can, get a better shot making from Austin Reeves, who had his worst game of the season yesterday. And who's still, ramping back up and trying to find his legs after being sidelined for a month, essentially. If they can get these things to work, I mean, look, they held the Thunder to 108 points. It was the Thunder's, I know it's only 5 games, but their worst offensive performance so far of the playoffs. If you can just get them to a more, if you have a reasonable offensive performance if you're the Lakers, you should feel good about just being able to compete. And that's how they're looking at it. They felt good about their ability to compete against the Thunder after Game 1.
So it feels like we're just kind of marching to the inevitable, Kobe, and that would mean a pretty interesting offseason for you covering this team as LeBron is set to be a free agent, and all of that kind of quieted down with a great performance against Houston and how he looked reinvigorated down the stretch. Very early on, May 6th, what are your expectations for LeBron, the Lakers, and their future together?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those uncertainties that people are still trying to figure out the answer to. But I mean, right now, I do expect for LeBron to play another season. Play at least one more NBA season. And I do expect that to be in a Lakers jersey. Now, how that looks with the salary, that's still something that needs to be worked out. But I do expect for LeBron to be a Laker starting with that before the 26-27 season.
Kobe, appreciate you giving us some time. I know it's a busy week. Thanks for doing this.
No, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Kobe Price, everybody. What do you think, JVT? Where do you sit on that with LeBron?
Oh, I would agree. Yeah, I think he'd probably stay in LA. He wants to stick around Los Angeles. There's a lot of off the court things that matter why you would stay there.
And life in LA and all that.
I mean, you could play with the Clippers.
That's true. I'm sure you would love that.
I mean, it'd be cool. I'm a LeBron guy.
We know.
Greatest forward that we have seen here play this game for the Los Angeles Lakers in the postseason this year.
Okay. Yep.
That's what I'll say.
41 years old and still doing what he's doing. Pretty remarkable. Also, I know you will be a guest on the show later on this week, but remember Hardwood Handicappers each and every day as you are looking as you're looking to preview and break down and get some bets in on all of these games as we go. Zach Cohen and company have you covered every day with the Hardwood Handicappers podcast. You can also go to vsin.com. He's got write-ups. Steve Makinen has trends available. vsin.com/subscribe is how you can come join us on a full-time basis, or if you want to just learn more about some of the stuff that we have going on at vsin.com. We got to step aside. When we come back, best bets for tonight in the NBA, the NHL. I've got some Truist Championship picks that I put in pocket earlier today as well. So you won't want to miss it as we wrap up this Wednesday edition of the show. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, let's get into it. Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Time for our best bets segment of the day as we round things out here. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you back here at Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas. Remember, stick around after we're done. Follow the Money and Company coming up. We talked a lot of hockey today. They're going to have Sean McDonough on the program, ESPN lead hockey play-by-play man. So
you know him?
I do. I know Sean. I've worked a few games with Sean. Not hockey, but college football.
It's weird. Justin, can you go back? How many times have we had Sean McDonough?
Well, okay, we can work on it. I've gotten us some good people. Don't hate.
I was going to say,
Don't hate the player, okay?
It's a good get, but I guess we can't get it. Even though you have a personal relationship with him.
I've gotten us some people that Follow the Money hasn't gotten to, okay? Let me live college basketball. You remember? Neither here nor there. Let's get into the best bets. You got to recap what you did yesterday. I didn't have anything on the card. What do you have?
One play from yesterday gets home. Actually, it got the worst of the number, but the Cavaliers-Pistons game stays under the total. Got as high as 217.5. Market bet it up. I think I saw it 218 out there yesterday. Either way, though, stays under all of the numbers. Cavaliers shooting performance was okay, but overall offense efficiency was awful, and the turnovers were a pretty big issue, as we have discussed here. So get under the total. I think that maybe the zigzag, but from a total perspective, maybe playing the over in game 2 might be worth looking at, especially if the market adjusts a little too much after a game 1 performance. Game wasn't particularly fast either, so that's going to be something that I think you account for here. I'm going to double check what the possessions were for yesterday, but I don't think you saw anything that would make you run. Yeah, it was 93 possessions yesterday. So like we talked about, half court oriented, pretty slow, relatively poor shooting. That all led to an under, maybe a little bit of a bounce back from an efficiency standpoint for both teams. You can get it to go over in this next game.
All right, what are you adding to the portfolio? Because I know at least one of your plays is in hoops tonight. What'd you do?
Play of principle. We'll do it. Minnesota Timberwolves plus the 10.5 tonight against the San Antonio Spurs. I just don't agree, man. Like, I'm sorry. This number, when Anthony Edwards came back in a limited fashion, was closed at about 10.5. And now here we are, I would assume, despite the questionable tag, that Anthony Edwards is going to play today because he gave him 25 minutes in game 1. Also, Ayo Dosunmu is available here. And yet we're not really adjusting off of what we were at initially because the Spurs lost, and we expect them to, I guess, win and cover because that's how the zigzag works. Our buddy Doug Kazarian tweeted it out earlier today. By his calculations, 9-17 the zigzag is so far in this postseason. Not that I'm blindly fading that one, but I think the whole point here being is that you don't just go ahead and blindly come in just because a team has won or lost the previous game, play on or against them because of some trend that we've known about for about a bajillion years. I think the number's too high. So I'll go against the zigzag. I'll go against the market to an extent because this got bet up from 9 to 10.5 at some spots, and I will go with the Timberwolves tonight against against San Antonio.
Anything else for you today?
Do I have one more? I'm sorry. I didn't do our second. I apologize. Angels, money line tonight, even money. We broke this down a little bit earlier. Pricing standpoint for me, it's a price grab. Yes, it opened up a little bit higher than this. I still think that we should probably have a little bit more respect for the Angels at home. White Sox are getting priced really high, and they're playing well, and they deserve it, especially the way that they're swinging the bats. But do think with a pitcher that shows some signs of regression on the other side, Ureña has been pitching relatively well for the Angels. Bullpen could be shaky, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem, I'm sure. Just like we did with that one Guardians play last week. We'll call the shot now. I'm sure the Angels will lead late, and they'll blow it. but I do think from a price standpoint, it's worth grabbing a little bit on Anaheim today. So let's go Angels money line tonight.
See if they can win back-to-back games for the first time in nearly a month. Would be good. Would be nice for them.
It'd be great.
For me, I do have one game in action right now that we gave out at the top of the show, sweating out the Dodgers run line, but up 9-1 right now in the top of the fifth. So hopefully they'll continue to take advantage of what is the worst bullpen in baseball in the Houston Astros. Also, I was mad at myself yesterday for not making this official when I talked about it at plus 475, but Nathan McKinnon for Conn Smythe, even at plus 380, is still a number I think is worth betting and officially adding it to the portfolio. Again, just so mad at myself about this yesterday. This number is only going to get shorter and shorter. He had what yesterday? Goal. Yeah, he had the goal and an assist. The insurance goal on the power play, assisted on both goals in the first period yesterday. 4 goals, 6 assists in the postseason right now, 10 points, tied for second most in all of the NHL. Only Kirill Kaprizov and Quinn Hughes have more, who the Avs are most likely going to beat in this series. And then we talked about it yesterday. Who is Colorado going to have to face then on the other side of the bracket in the Western Conference? Either Anaheim or Vegas, who at least on paper they should roll through. The next closest Avs player in points right now is Gabe Landeskog with 7. Cale Makar has 4 goals and assists, also logs heavier time on ice minutes. But I think as far as who you are going to pick on Colorado, it's going to be Nathan McKinnon, and you are getting a significantly better price on him for Conn Smythe than you are for Colorado to win the cup right now. So that's the way I would play it. As far as the Truist Championship goes this week, we talked about it earlier with Christopher Powers. I do have a couple plays banking on both Xander Schauffele and Matt Fitzpatrick in the top 10 market, plus 105 for Schauffele, plus 140 for Fitzpatrick. And I also have Schauffele outright at plus 1125. 4 top 10 finishes the last 6 tournaments. Finished second twice at Quail Hollow. Even last year's PGA Championship, when he wasn't top 10, still gained strokes in every stat but approach. Meanwhile, this year leads the field in approach, gained strokes driving and approach in 8 straight starts, top 3 in scrambling and sand saves. He's just doing a lot of things that match up well for this course. And then for Fitzpatrick, top 10 in the field on approach, great ball striking, top 8 in last year's PGA Championship. He's had such a great start to this season. Hopefully he can carry it over into today. And then one bet I am not allowed to make myself, but I just want the people to have available to them and I'm not allowed to make the bet because I'll be covering the series further with Anaheim and Vegas. I'll be on game 4 in Anaheim coming up on Sunday. But Jackson LaCombe to have an anytime assist today, plus 110 is the price. We talked about the difference in price from to have a point versus an assist. It's like minus 110 or even a little bit more expensive depending on where you look for him to have a point. Yet 9 of his 10 points that he has in the postseason have been assists. That's more of what his game is, producing offense from the blue line. And with that in mind, even if you look back just through all of the metrics for him throughout the course of the regular season, for all the points that he has in the 50s, he only has 10 goals. So I think it's the more likely situation for him to have an assist, and you're getting plus money on it. Why not throw it in? Again, I am not allowed to bet it, but I love the play, and I think LaCombe should have at least a point and hopefully an assist.
I like it. Really quick, the news of the day or last hour, for those who are not with us or haven't seen it, Golden Tempo is going to bypass the Preakness Stakes. Yeah. We did have a statement from their team. After much thoughtful discussion as a team, we have decided that Golden Tempo will bypass the Preakness Stakes. Incredibly appreciative of the excitement and support surrounding the possibility of a Triple Crown run. The enthusiasm from racing fans, our owners, and our entire team has meant more to us than we can properly express. Golden gave us the race of a lifetime at the Kentucky Derby, but believe the best decision for him moving forward is to give him a little bit more time following such a tremendous effort.
Right on. So mad at you about this whole guest thing.
About the what now?
About this whole guest thing.
What guest thing?
You don't like the guest that I tried to book for us.
Oh, that's already out of my mind. I never said that I don't like it. I just said that,
Dan Schulman's not good enough for you. Brock Osweiler's not doing it for you. Dave Fleming called the Masters. No?
We only had Brock on one time. And you never asked Brock about the infamous pizza video that I keep telling you to ask him about from many, many years ago.
There's you know what? And that just reminded me, there's another thing I'm supposed to ask another person. You know what? I'll get some good hockey people on for us. You want Eric Johnson? Let's get Eric Johnson on here. What do you say?
Sure. That sounds great.
He's been a star for ESPN this year. I don't know if you've seen.
What about Oshie?
Want me to reach out to Oshie? I'll reach out to Oshie. I'll reach out to Steve Levy. I'm going to get us somebody, okay? I'm very offended by you saying I don't utilize my contacts well.
I never said that. I just said you never got us McDonough.
There's only so much I can do, okay?
True.
When are you going to start contributing to this? That's what I want to know.
I get his guests all the time.
Who? When? Where? How? I haven't seen it.
I'll have to review the notes.
What do you have going on the rest of the day?
Nothing. But
where are you going to watch the games from tonight?
That's the question. I will have to go check that out because preempted locally for A's baseball, so don't have to pull double duty today. We should also note the other piece of breaking news today, too, that Joel Embiid is not going to play tonight for the New York Knicks. And a last look at this one, we're sitting at 10.5 across the board. This is what I was waiting for, the total. So when the news first came down, the total, or excuse me, the side went to 10.5, Stormy, but then it just kind of didn't move on the total, and I was waiting, like, what's going to happen here? We're starting to see 213.5 shaded to the over pop up here. 214 is here at Circa, so I'll be curious to see if this starts to dip. Tempo goes up, but efficiency goes down with that Embiid, so maybe that's going to be something. And, of course, just expecting that the Knicks are not going to be as good. But I'll be watching maybe this game out and about on the town later this evening. Why not?
I still think, like we said, the Knicks are nothing if you are betting this game. I can't talk myself into Philadelphia.
Is that an invitation?
Do you want to come watch the game at my house?
Oh, that's boring. No. I don't want to go.
I don't leave my home. I work, I go home. I work, I go home. Sometimes I go to Pilates.
It's leg day today.
Oh, man, that's boring.
It's not boring.
It's boring.
Oh, come on
It's
now.
not. That means tomorrow when you're in the studio, because so for anyone who doesn't know this, JVT has to get up like during commercial breaks every time. He can't stay sitting. Correct. And that just means all that I'm going to get for the rest of the week is you complaining about how your legs are sore when you get up in commercial breaks.
Not true, because my legs aren't sore, because we do a leg day twice a week. Yep, that's right.
Because you're so strong. All right, on that note, that's a wrap for us today. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Excited to be back tomorrow, especially to recap some of the hockey. I'll see what guests I can get for us, because JVT thinks I'm not good at my job. That
At least
said,
you're not letting it bother you.
Follow the money coming up next. Dustin Sweetelson, I believe, still in the chair this week, correct?
No,
or is
Mitch
Pauly
Moss
back?
is here. Mitch Moss is here.
Sorry. Pauly's been here, but Mitch Moss back in the saddle today. Get excited, everybody. Have a great day.